doing well by grace.
Great. Are the children supposed to go to school today?
First years are supposed to report today to begin registration.
And what exactly would happen between now and maybe in the next 2 days?
Between now and the next 2 days or perhaps the entire week, there will still be the registration process. That will be because we acknowledge that some may not be able to go today. Some would report it. Just like, in our days when we go to school week opening, and then you still not get the entire reporting on the same day. And so the process would continue. And we even know that even in the coming weeks, we would have souls to, but again, we can't wait and say that because
we'll have to raise Cassandra back on the phone line, please. And let's try and raise her back on the phone line. A few questions to ask. 10 minutes after 9 here on 3FM 92.7. I don't care.
If she marry motor driver, I don't care.
11 is the time. Cassandra Chumapovo has joined us back on the line. Cassandra, welcome back. So I'm asking, between now and the next 2 days, what exactly will happen?
Yes, so thank you so much. A drop. Between now and the next 2 days and even the entire week, the process would continue, the admission process, where students will submit their placement form for verification because once you are placed there, you just don't go straight away and begin. They also have the master list on the system to check whether indeed you've been placed there. You'll be given your forms to fill, the admission forms to fill. That is where you pick up. You get to know your house and all of that. So that process would continue the next 2 days and even the entire week. We know that that's what's going to happen in the schools. And then schools that are able to do this part would also continue with their orientation, help students familiarize themselves with the school environment, get to know the school code of conduct and all the things that they need to know as freshers.
What about, these are schools, if you talk about house and all of that, schools that have boarding facilities. What about those schools that do not have boarding facilities and are just day schools? What do they do?
Exactly. Schools that do not have boarding facilities would also go through admission process because you need to know your class. And it would interest you to know some schools even have houses because when it comes to certain activities and certain competitions in the school, they are attached to, they have some kind of colors, houses of the sort, even though they don't lodge or they don't stay or sleep in the school.
Right.
So you get to know where you belong to, get to know your classroom. If I find students, you get to know whether it's science 1, science 2, science 3, and then all of that would happen.
The Speaker of Parliament has called for the attention of the Education Minister to appear in Parliament. Do you know if the Minister is honoring that invitation and also to stagger the reopening date, as is the wish of the House and the Speaker of Parliament?
Well, we issued a statement on the 2nd of December confirming what we had indicated on the placement form. As an agency, we implement policies of government with regards to pre-tertiary education issues. And so for us, we have our academic calendar, and then on the calendar, we indicated, remember, I don't know, I am very sure, as for Johnny, I know that you are always up to date. We published the academic calendar long time, indicating 4th December. And so for us, preparations for boarding or situations ahead of placement doesn't start when placement is released. Right from the time your child completes senior high school, preparation starts from there. This year, what we even did, apart from publishing the academic calendar ahead and letting the public know, and then prospective candidates and all of that know that you'll be going to school on the 4th of December, we also again published the harmonized prospectus to help students, to help parents know the items that they would be purchasing, so that you don't wait for placements to be released. So you go to school A and then get to know that these are the items I need to buy. We've had the harmonized one, and so you can start buying the comfort of your home. So we are implementing what we are supposed to do. With regards to the minister honoring the invitation, I cannot speak for it. But for us, should there be anything which will be communicated to us as an agency, definitely would heed. But until then, that we are going to school, and we know some schools, some parents have started going through the process in some schools, the feedback that we've received this morning.
And quickly, for schools that, for example, have the limitation of a well-barricaded school, they don't have walls and all of that. If the children do appear in school at this time and for the 3 days, there's no academic exercise, but they have to go through these registration, etc. We also know some constraints in certain schools where one person is playing the role of two or maybe three. I'm looking at the safety and security of the children. Can we guarantee that?
Of course, we've had this is not the first time we are having students in schools. So even with those schools that may have broken walls, or probably the few ones you may have identified as not having good walls and all of that. Yes, we have their third years, the second years that just came home for vacation. And so we have full security, we have their house mistresses on campus that's ready receiving, and then they are on standby receiving them the first years and all of that. So when it comes to security, yes. And these are fresh trends that we know that definitely they wouldn't be the type that would be running away home or probably getting the community people to disturbing them while on campus. For security, that is assured, because we've not had any incidents up to this time so far. In probably, I don't know the school that you have identified, but we've not had any case that indicates that is going to affect the security of these first years as they begin registration today.
And parents have raised concerns. I think that's the same tone with which Parliament spoke, that the time frame is too short, given the time that the results were released, the placements, and for them to make their choice and to put themselves together to answer to the prerequisites of the prospectus that was presented by the schools. And so if you can, as an agency, extend the reopening date, push it back a bit so that parents can gather themselves, students can ready themselves, and then they can go back to school. What do you say to that?
Johnny, remember I indicated early on that we had our academic calendar published. So that structured plan is there. And we published it ahead with the first year reporting inclusive. And I remember personally I had some parents also will be going to school, our children will be going to school on the 4th of December. It came up. Apart from the publishing of the academic calendar, which we indicated that will be going on the 4th, we also published the prospectus as well. And we made it available so that parents would also know that they have to start preparing. Again, I said early on that preparations for getting into senior high school or getting your award into senior high school starts right after your child completes CHS. So there's some form of preparation. What they were waiting for was to know out of the 11 schools, the ones that the awards have been placed on merit. And for those that unfortunately fell off the 11 schools, out of the 11 schools, to do a self-placement and to get themselves placed in those schools. So, yes, I acknowledge that as a human, some may say that they did not, or they may not have heard of the calendar, or they may not have seen the calendar. But again, we are also working within a time. We publish this calendar again to let also the public know and for all of us to also know that we have a 3-year strategic plan with regards to we want to try to get back to the pre-COVID calendar. We all acknowledge, Johnny, that COVID disrupted the academic calendar in a way. And so for now, we may not really, just as it came up with the basic school, where they said they were going to school on the 3rd of October, teachers said they weren't having enough work, and we had to appeal to them that for now it appears to be so. But definitely, we are gradually getting to the September calendar where we would have to break in July. We would have the entire August break, and then second week of September. Then we definitely. And so this year, for instance, they went to school on the 3rd of October. So gradually next year, we hope that we'll get to the September, the old academic calendar, where we would all be comfortable and have enough rest and then all of that we need as teachers or as education workers. And so all that I would want to say is to appeal to the parents to bear with us that we are working in line with the structures so as to even get the students the required instructional hours that they need to. If we want to push, as some people are even suggesting that we push to January, then you realize that anytime school reopens, even when it is not new admissions, it takes like a week or two for students to settle. If you want to even push it to January, it means that about 2 or 3 weeks is going to be like not really a serious academic work, which of course will affect the instructional hours that we want to avoid.
I see.
But when they go this and begin the process, there's a Christmas break, and then when they resume on the 3rd of January, we know that effective classes begin, and we are all good to go. So we will appeal with them as much as yes, we acknowledge that some feel that it is a short time. They should bear with us so that we go through the process, and then we'll all be able to get our students the quality of education that we are all expecting that we have.
We're getting back to the old calendar. Does it mean we're going back to the old curriculum?
Oh, no. As for curriculum, very soon, I know next year we'll be implementing the senior high school curriculum. In 2019, we started the kindergarten basic, the standard-based curriculum. So now we've moved away from objective-based. We are using the standard-based. Gradually, we are almost through with the secondary curriculum. So we are going forward. We are not going back to objective-based because we are looking forward to a 21st century, that critical thinker, and the all-round student, the global student that we are looking for. So we are not going back at all to objective-based.
How long are the children going to stay in school this time around?
This time around, they are going today, and then the semester would end on the 5th of March 2024.
So the first run before they come home for Christmas will be between now and when?
Between now and 20th.
20th.
Between 4th now and then 20th. And so from 21st to 2nd will be their break. And then 3rd January 2024, they would go back, and then 5th March, they will end the academic, the first semester.
There's a concern from local government activists that the local government elections will happen on the 19th of December, by which time the children will be in school. These are first-time persons who have registered, who may want to exercise their franchise. You teach them government in school, civics and social studies and all of that. Is there a way that the GAS can, for example, whip up their interest in this, grant them a leave and license to come and vote? Because also we know there's some apathy towards local level elections in this country. I don't know what you think about it.
Well, I'm not up to speed with the date of the local government. I think
is the 19th of December, that is.
Okay, so I would have to probably inform my boss. But again, we have we've had many instances where students are given opportunity to go home and cast their vote. And so if it happens that management gets to know this, and then there's a way that they would want them to also go and then exercise their franchise and all of that, that can be done. It's been done before. But I would have to get a management position on this particular one, and then we can communicate properly on that.
I'll leave you to go, Cassandra, but again, finally, for the parents who are not able to meet up the requirements on the prospectus and would therefore have their children delay, is there any respite for them from your end?
This time we have simplified the prospectus, I must say. And we are of the hope that parents will be able to, because the many items on the prospectus that created lots of issues have all been taken out. And so when you look at the prospectus, for example, when you look at I don't know whether you have the copyright with you, but when you look at the must have, which is under category 1, all the things under category 1, they are basic needs. And so we know that definitely we have drinking cup, plastic cup, stainless steel, you have your trunk, of course, you have your chobos, there's a mattress, your socks, your pillow. I mean, these are just personal stuff that we know that once your ward or your child or son or daughter will be in a senior high school, you will need these items just as he or she would need at home. When you come to category 2, even under category 2, we have group 1, 2, 3. And the students are not providing all the items. And so on the placement form, it's been indicated the group in which they belong. So if you print your placement form and you are under group 1, it means that group 1, you're only going to add on to your basic needs a pair of hand gloves, liquid soap, 5 liters, and 1 kg washing powder. And that's it. If you're under a group 2, in addition to your basic needs or your must-have items, you're only adding on 1 bleach, a small size one, a dustpan, a long broom, a scrubbing brush. That's it. If it is group 3, you add these items, 1 mop, a duster, and a local shop broom. These 3 items, in addition to your basic needs or your must-have needs. So we believe that many of the items that created a number of issues have been taken out. And so we hope that parents will be able to buy these simple ones and then take their awards to school. As for the school uniform and the house dresses and all those items, it's been provided by government under the 3-year policy.
I see.
So they don't need to worry about. All they need is to get the check as indicated so that you wear that one to school because you are a first timer, so you need the check there. The boys have their white shirt and the khaki trousers, and they are good to go.
For parents who are yet to find a school, I mean, for example, we have covered stories where somebody says, I live in Accra, there's a day school in my community, I'd rather my child goes to that school. My child has been posted somewhere on a boarding facility or a day school facility. I don't want that. I want to change. And all those who want to alter their choices out of the 11 opportunities that were granted them. What do they do as we speak?
Okay, Johnny, as for placement, once you are placed in one of your own choices, it cannot be changed unless you have peculiar problems. Probably you are not well, something happened within, maybe after the selection of your school, something happened, or transfer. We've had cases where after the selection, their parents have been transferred to other regions and all of that. That is why we have our solution center set up across all the regions and at the national level. We are at Adabakanat Hall, and you can also call us. So I can, with your permission, I would want to
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. So 030-825-801. 030-825-801. If you call and then let us know your details, just let us know that you've been transferred, or your daughter, the parents should let us know that he or she has been transferred. And so once the school change for the daughter or the son, and we'll get to know, then do the needful. But apart from that, we are not changing schools. So many of the people that are coming to us, they are like, if it's not first choice, then no other school.
I see.
And that is why sometimes it gives us problems. It is the first choice that they are looking up to. But students are also placed on merit. So if you don't get a first choice, it definitely will be your second or probably your third. This time they have even 11 schools. So they should please accept their postings or their placements and then go to school and begin registration. For those that were not placed or did not get any of their choices. They are doing self-placement, and then they are supposed to, we are encouraging them to go and pick up the schools. We have a number of schools on the portal. And of course, it's not open up to all grades. And so if you are at 13 and you have to do a self-placement, the schools that will come up for you would not be the same as somebody who had aggregate 30. So, but we have a number of schools across the regions on the portal that they can do their self-placement. Now that they know that they are going today on the 4th of December, anyone who is listening to me or anyone who has still not done the self-placement is encouraged to do so.
How do you explain, for example, that somebody has, say, aggregate 12, doesn't get their first choice, but somebody has 18, 20, and they get that same school, which is maybe a grade A school? How do you explain that?
Exactly. A number of factors come to play. One, it could be cost choices. It could be residential choices. So somebody that had aggregate 8, aggregate 6 or probably 8 or 10 and did not get the first choice may have chosen science. We all know in this country that the science general lab is a competitive subject, of course. And so if you are targeting a school like the SEC, the Wesley Girls, the Holy Child, St. Louis, the Achemotas, and you want science, you know that it's going to be a tough competition compared to other courses. So somebody can enter the same school with a higher grade than yours, probably with a course. We have not many people choosing business, not many people choosing visual. And so somebody can enter with such a course if they want. Apart from the course, it could be residential status. You want boarding. I want day. So I can get in with that higher grade if there's day space for me. So the system is looking at the number of students that the school can accommodate for boarding. Presec or Achimota or Accra Girls have limits. They cannot admit all. Should we all even get the same grade, the same raw score? We all cannot get into their boarding space because of space. Even now that we are using the double track or transitional calendar, where we don't have all the students on campus at the same time, and so it creates space for them. You still cannot get all of them in the school. Definitely, when it gets to a point, the system will cut because you all can't get into the boarding space. But somebody can get in because it is safe. Apart from that, we have the 30% public equity, which also addresses the needs of students that attended public basic schools. We realized this policy came into existence where we realized that many of our public schools, students that completed junior high school in our public basic schools, were not getting access to the public senior high school. So we realized all the candidates that will have the category A schools were coming from private schools. And so some stakeholders began asking questions that why is it that students that attended public basic schools, when it comes to the senior high school, the same public senior high school, they don't get access. I go to my public JHS, I don't get the public senior high school. But somebody that goes to a private senior high school then gets access into the public. And surprisingly, those that attend the private JHS, Johnny, do not want their private senior high school. They want to come. So at that time, we looked at it and stakeholders then decided to look at it carefully, and then the policy of the 30% public equity came in, where we encourage during school selection, we encourage our students in the public basic school to choose this category A school. When they choose and when they are running the system, the CSSCS, the computer they do it such a way that they run first all candidates from maybe the GA, maybe NIMA cluster of schools, maybe Jolo Bethany, Methodist. I mean, these or a Sian Quanta Basic somewhere, you know. It runs all those that are coming from these public basic schools and have chosen this category.
But you do, Cassandra, you do know that people now leave the private schools maybe at Form 2 and then transition into the public school to go and write the exam. They pass and they're going to SHS, so they've jumped one class ahead. That's a reality on the ground, as we have found out. it maybe because they think that there may be impediments in their way because they attended private schools, they may not be getting their fair share. So they will find their way into the public school and then get their first grade, as you were trying to explain. That's also there, right?
Yes, we have seen that, and that's the reason why at some point, I don't know whether you saw a letter signed by a director of schools and instruction asking for schools to submit the attendance register and then the cumulative assessment of all students that completed their DHS, because we wanted to know the track, whether they've really gone through the 3 years in their school. So that is there. And of course, in every system, Johnny, people find a way to outwit the system. We had a good intention, but people also thought that, okay, so let us find a way. Okay, in JHS to private, so let me quickly go to public school to be able to. But for us, the idea is that we want to be fair and give these DA, the MA, basic schools, students the opportunity to also have access to these schools. I mean, the prefects and then the achievements, you should have somebody coming from a village-based school getting into those schools. And so, yes, we have seen that, and I know that definitely once after every placement and after every selection, we sit down, we review the process. This is coming up and it's becoming prevalent, and so I know that the minister and then GES will definitely have a look at it. And if there's a need for a review, I mean, that will be done. But until then, we still give priority to those that not even priority. We make sure that the 30% public equity, I mean, it's implemented so that those in the public DHS that want access in our category A school. And again, let me clarify that this only is applicable to category A schools. We don't do that for category B school or category C school. It is only the category A schools that we implement the 30% public equity.
I see. How are we roping in the private schools at the secondary school, the second cycle level? Because they have also been complaining that, look, if you have an overflow or have challenges, pass them on to us and let's see what we can do. Are they on your list of 11, for example, the options that the children can choose from?
We have private sections, I think, at the back. But largely, it is the public senior high school. But you see, Johnny, whatever it is, we place students in schools that they choose. And that is why even in our public senior high schools, there are some schools that are less subscribed. There are some schools that are less subscribed. You don't get students choosing at all. At all. And some we have to literally do community engagement after like this. I know some communities have started getting into the houses, door to door, to encourage the students to attend their own school. It is because the students did not choose. And so I find it weird when somebody says that I did not choose a school and I was safe. It will never. And I trust our system so much that it will never place you in a school that you do not choose. No, it doesn't happen. It would rather leave you idle so that once you don't get any of your choices, it leaves you and then it gives you the opportunity to do a self-placement. And so even if we have the private schools on the school register and students do not choose, we still cannot place students there. And again, strangely, those that attend private schools do not want to choose their own private secondary schools. They don't. Few people that want to go straight. There are Kosovo's and then the Ghana International High and those schools, they then go straight and do their entrance exams and do. But largely, they don't. They all want the public senior high schools. And so they choose. And so when they choose and they pass or they have their grades, intact, then they will be placed there on merit.
Thank you, Cassandra Chumampofo. She speaks for the Ghana Education Service. We're grateful that you spent your money with us.
Thank you.
And joining us on the other phone line is Mrs. Bernice Imperi Jechi. She is with NEC. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Good morning.
Good morning.
Madam, is everything okay? Your children, are they fine in terms of their school selection? They have been asked to go to school today. Are you comfortable?
We are not too comfortable with that. Currently, we don't have much problem with the placement in the various schools, but the short notice that parents have to prepare to send their children to school, that is the challenge. I think when we had the prospectus, the national approved prospectus, we forwarded it to some of our members across the region to circulate it so that parents can use that one to start preparation towards school. But as I talk to you now, we have quite a number of parents who are unable to get all the prospectus for their children to report to school today. The majority are also doing their best to report today. So the duration, and parents are so much worried about the prospectus they have to buy for their children, the provisions, the everything, and then within 2 weeks they have to come back with a challenge. And one of the main problems is that some of the schools, when they go and they are coming back in 2 weeks, they have to come back with everything, their troubles, their trunks, their bags, everything, and send them back 2 weeks. We have a parent who lives in a Greater Accra. The child is going to Nkwanta. No. So just imagine taking this child to Nkwanta from Greater Accra, and then in 2 weeks, the child has to come back. And mostly during that short time, some of the children are not so independent that they will be able to carry all their things and come immediately. The parents would have to go there and bring them for 1 or 2 times before the children are okay to go to school by themselves.
Right.
So it's really a challenge in the short
Tell
time
me,
for them.
the Speaker of Parliament wants the audience of the Education Minister regarding this matter so that a possible extension could happen. I just got off the phone with the PRO of the Ministry of Ghana Education Service, who says that they publish this calendar ahead. Parents are aware, everybody's aware, so it's good timing. What do you say? Do you side with the Speaker or with the agency that's supervising your work?
Yes, so I wouldn't take side on either of them, but in my opinion, what I would say is that it was circulated, but there was not enough education on it or sensitization on it until it got to this stage. Most of the time, we speak for the very vulnerable ones, those who live in remote areas that do not have access to information. They don't have a WhatsApp phone, they don't have a smartphone, they don't have access to television and all those. How would that parent get to know about this prospectus? You get it. But when results are released, when placements are made, there is news all over the radio stations, and then the parents are aware. But to give prospectus or some information ahead of time, how will the vulnerable people in the community get to know? But we are also concerned about the academic calendar, that if those measures are not taken, we will have a gap in the academic sector because of COVID and then the structure of the senior high school system now. So I wouldn't side with both of them, but I think that I wouldn't side with either the Speaker or the PRO for GS. But then this is my opinion that I can give.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Bernice Imperi Jechi. She's the National Coordinator for NEC. We're grateful that you spoke to us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. And we'll take a quick break. When we return from this break, I'm sure we can pick a few calls of yours. But William, quickly, you had a going issues.
Yeah.
You have a daughter in school.
Yeah. And one fascinating thing was when they used to put a pressing iron on the prospectus.
Yes, pressing iron,
200
rake.
And no, 200 of them, everybody bringing that. What happens to this?
Pressing iron, rake, machete.
So I'm happy that they've given some standard, but I still would want to find out why they're putting hoes and cutlasses on the prospectus when they can just introduce them to technology, because we are all trying to, put that fear of hoe and cutlass from the students so that we can encourage them to apply technology when they want to become farmers. Lawnmowers. Maybe the PTA can come together and get them lawnmowers so that,
see all these things.
So that it doesn't become, because we are crying now that they made hoe and cutlass and weeding a punishment.
Yes.
So if you have lawnmowers, now we say, wow.
But
so
William, all these things, we used to do it. Old boys would say, Hamado house, right? Or hall, Hamado hall. they don't have irons. Okay, old boys meet and say, oh, Charlie, let's find them some 20 irons. Then they buy it and come and put in the pool. Now we say everybody should bring irons.
So what happens to 200
Yes.
pieces, 300 pieces?
Why did we even abolish the PT? Because now we can't take care of the
No,
situation.
but the PT, some of them are still on the ground working.
No, that's because those schools are strong, and if you go for the headmaster or the headmistress, the old boys and old girls will come at you.
Yeah.
But then imagine schools that are not as strong as the discos, the motels, the bouquets, and crackers. How?
Dissolve the PT.
Because education is a collaboration.
Exactly. Parents
And teachers and the students, all of them together. The learners.
Anyway.
Buying few.
Get there, but
Hey, and the bring your bedroom,